Jesus Christ, I write the word Zex so many times.
What if he was named Sex Murky?
Whoa!
Yeah, okay. Beat me to it.
Jesus Christ.
Tulpa Gundam style, everybody. Welcome to Walker Robot, a normal podcast. I'm Matt,
Doubt.
and I use he and pronouns. With me, as always, are these two fools.
I'm Julia, I use she and her pronouns.
I'm Jared or Jay, and I use he and them pronouns.
The situation is progressing, is all I can say about this show.
Things are
The plot is advancing.
happening.
The plot... They weren't lying. That plot sure can advancing.
Yeah.
We've lost a beloved friend by the name of Zex Murky, and we have gained a beloved friend by the name of Milliardo Peacecraft, two very different people, you must understand.
Yeah, and if
Rest in
one of
peace
us
to
does
the
in
old
fact
me.
say the word Zex and the name Zex in any further episodes, please yell at us because we're wrong.
There is one exclusive time during these episodes where it's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. But
That's valid.
in a perfect world...
beyond that, I think, yeah.
In a perfect world, I would take the time editing to, like, if any of us do say Zex, I'll just, like, make a fucking Microsoft...
Please just go,
robot voice say
Miliardo.
Skull trumpet. Yeah, skull trumpet like Nana Roy.
I mean,
Jesus.
in a perfect... I might... Maybe if we're really on the ball and don't say Zex that much, that'll make my life easier, and I'll only have to do it a couple times. If I don't do it, don't get my ass. This is me saying it might happen while recording. When I edit, it might be a different story. I might be fucking tired. Who knows?
Yeah, get off
I
Max's
certainly
ass.
won't because I'm a consummate professional. I've been running a radio show from 6 to 9 a.m. for the last 2 days, and I have to do it again tomorrow, so...
Yay. I love having to
Also,
work for a
sorry in
living.
advance to listeners in case I do go robot mode, because I'm working on just god-awful Wi-Fi. I'm trying, I promise.
I know, I also had a really tough day. I spent literally all of it playing Guild Wars 2, and, like, I agree. Like, it's just been really tough lately.
I'm looking directly into the camera. Hey, remember when Guild Wars 2 came out and, like, we didn't sleep for a day?
Uh-huh.
That was good
Yeah,
times.
and then it turns out that
No.
my girlfriends all play it, so I'm playing Guild Wars again.
Uh-oh! Hey, I mean,
Oh, extremely
I can
good.
think of not many better MMOs to play in this current day, so
That's
good on
very
you.
true. Could be worse.
Could be worse. You still those the little brain people?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Let's get into it. We got episodes to talk about as usual. I have the first summary of events of this week. We're talking about New Mobile Report Gundam Wing. Episode 19, Assault on Barge. Milliardo wakes up on Dr. Wily's freighter ship, and it is revealed that he was one of the engineers who originally worked on the Tall Geese and has fitted it with atmospheric escape thrusters so he can join the battle against Oz. Dr. Wily worked on Tall Geese. Milliardo's escaping to space, obviously. In space, Un continues her campaign of quote-unquote peace, further convincing the colonists that Oz are the good guys. Her kind and peaceful facade breaks when she receives word of a Gundam in a capsule, and she orders it to be captured. Death Scythe, the Gundam in question, is no match for the Tauruses and is captured along with Duo, leading Hero to break Duo out. They end up escaping with the help of Shenlong, who is also damaged in battle, but they have to leave Death Scythe behind. Is good. A lot.
Hey, do
Lady
you know
Un,
this show
what's-
is, like,
what's the
really
deal?
good?
What's the deal? Hey, Lady Un, you good? What's the deal?
Well, she's going through some stuff.
Damn, she sure is.
This girl has at least two sides to her, and I can't say that's not true.
Fucking look, I'm cursed to kind of like all the shows I watch for my podcast always are sort of like bound by fate in a way, because obviously, I mentioned this several times, the main bad guy in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is voiced by Takahito Koyasu, who's also the voice of Milliardo, who's also the voice of fucking Dio Brando. That's one thing. But now, to like that main villain and also now fucking Lady Un have like kind of a Harvey Dent situation going on. It's a lot to fucking handle. It's a lot. Everything happens so much.
It sure does when it comes to Un. And the thing of it is, though, it kind of fucks. Like,
It's good because it freaks me out. I don't know what the deal is.
yeah, it's really interesting because at this point, we still aren't sure if she's playing or if she's, like, actually good. The show is being very cagey about it.
All we can say for sure at this point
Yeah.
is that she's. That's all.
True.
Yep.
Just she's. So yeah, episode starts out, Milliardo's Neepy.
Yeah, there's a new intro narration, and then we get Miliardo looking at a new unfamiliar ceiling.
Okay, fucking let me escape Ava for one day, please.
No.
He's awake and ready to shake now. He's alive and ready to jive. And fucking Dr. Wily is here, who was hanging out with Hiro and Duo at the beginning of the show. Mm-hmm. What's this guy's deal?
He's just a fan.
Yeah, okay.
He likes robots.
Hey, me too. Can't blame him.
We do have our good buddy Miliardo hanging out in his cool red tank top. It's a t-shirt with his sleeves rolled up, but it's a very different vibe from his normal attire.
Wait, shit! Oh my god!
Hey,
I got it. I cracked it.
Where does Miliardo keep his armies? He keeps them up his sleeveys.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Char Aznable.
Oh,
Gundam.
God.
Quattro Pagina Zeta Gundam. Different identity. He loses the sleeves.
Oh, shit.
What could it mean?
Yeah,
hey, I think Miliardo's the Char clone of this series.
Wow, I think you've cracked the code.
I've done it. I figured it out.
Much like that friend on Reddit who has decided that he's the only one who understands that Gundam's about politics, you are the first to this assumption.
No one has ever come upon such a thought before. Does anyone else is Gundam politics? I love Reddit. Never change. This website's fucking free.
It's free!
Dr. Wily mentions how he was involved in designing the tall geese. So I guess he's presumably in a similar league of the other 5 Gundam engineers. I'm going to call him Dr. Wily because that's who he is.
I do want to mention just his actual name is Mike Howard. It's the most boring ass name.
It's Howard, yep.
But I tend to call him Jimmy Buffett in my notes because he's always wearing a tropical button-up shirt.
Mike Howard? Why is he? That's the fucking most boring name.
Yep.
That's not even a number.
Thanks, Gundam.
That's not a number. I don't care if his name's not a number.
So, he's picked up the Tallgeese at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's fixed it up. It's now equipped for space travel.
Mm-hmm.
And our good boy's decided he's gonna head off into space just like our youngsters did previously.
Yeah, it's interesting. Jimmy Buffett, Dr. Wily, Michael Howard says outer space is undergoing a rapid, drastic transformation, and people like you are needed. So presumably he kind of knows who Miliardo is, and he's like,
yeah, absolutely.
You definitely have the skills to pay the bills, as it were, here. If anyone can go out and enact change, it's probably the guy who won't get killed by this thing.
Right.
Yeah, we kind of need all of the superhuman robot piloters that we can get to stand up against Oz, even if we're not so sure what they're doing at this point.
Yeah, it's 5 against a lot right now. So
yeah, and it seems like you are no longer their friend, so I would like you to also be helping us. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Please and thank you.
Please.
So next we cut over, we get this narration of Oz is taking over space, of course. Lady Un is in girl boss parentheses nice mode right now. She's kind of successfully...
she's talking the talk and doing the walk. It's really satisfying. Yeah. She's actually following through on all of the things that Trey's clearly wanted her to do, which was to win people over through conversations rather than violence.
How to win friends and influence people.
The Lady Un story.
The Lady Un story. She's successfully kind of won over all the heads of the colonies by this point. We don't really see anyone else being hey, I think Oz is bad. That's a fucking moot point now. Everyone's drinking the Oz Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
And they mention the Space Fortress barge. I was very confused about this, and I still kind of am, because I couldn't tell if barge is just a colony, or if barge specifically is Lady Un's, silver Star Wars Episode 1 looking ship. Do we know?
I think it's supposed to be the latter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a colony, but it's bigger than a normal ship, I think, because it's
okay, no, just kidding.
It's supposed to be her personal transport from Trey's, isn't it?
I've looked it up. It is, so it looks like a colony. It has the round thing. It has a little bar going across it, but it's not a colony. It is Lady Un's ship is its own thing. Apparently,
cool.
The official translation is bulge, which isn't great.
Nope.
I'm gonna call it barge because
that fucking rules. Fuck
I don't want to call it bulge. Okay, so yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Oh, episode over. Which interesting though, because we definitely see people. I thought civilians are on barge. Was maybe it was a colony that got turned into a space fortress? Who knows?
It was one of Oz's space fortresses.
Okay.
So yeah, that would explain why it sort of looks like one.
Sure. Yeah, okay, I believe that. As she's talking to people, being very, very nice, a soldier walks up to her and says, "We have the item in question." And he mentions, like, you're going to talk with His Excellency Trays. And this kind of, like, snaps her out of something. These entire set of episodes, it's unclear what has happened to It's very concerning, to say the least.
Yeah.
Her eyes just kind of glaze over, and her personality, like, fully does a 180.
Mm-hmm. She becomes girl boss derogatory whenever this happens.
Yeah.
They jump back to barge, and she's uniformed up, and she is fully the old again.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think it is? I think her braids are tied so tight that it cuts off the oxygen to her brain, and then she becomes rude.
Done. It makes sense.
That's how it happens. That's right.
Lady N does say some stuff that's, like, not great.
Oz has spotted an HLV carrier, and it seems empty, and they send out some Leos to check it out, as well as some Taurus mobile dolls. And surprise, Death Scythe pops out, and it immediately takes out the Leos.
Yay! Bye-bye!
Have we learned yet that these Leos aren't a match for the Gundams? 'Cause it doesn't seem like it.
I don't think we've seen the Gundams fight. We haven't seen a Gundam fight the, We know the Gundams can destroy a trillion Leos easy peasy.
Yes.
We have not yet seen Gundams fight
We
Tauruses.
haven't seen them fight the Tauruses
Correct.
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is, for whatever reason, Oz is very adamant about making sure the Tauruses are unmanned more often than not. And for whatever reason, they just continue to send their soldiers out in the inferior suits for no reason.
I mean...
Yeah, they don't really care about losing them, which
that's
is
the
odd.
thing, right? It's like, the Tauruses are probably a lot more expensive to produce than the Leos, considering you have to jam a very nice AI into it. So they're like, yeah, we can lose as many Leos as we need, because, like, 2 Tauruses can kill anything. I guess that's kind of probably their rationale here. Lady Un does say some frankly weird shit here as she orders them to capture it, because she's like, if the pilot, capture the Gundam, if the pilot's not ugly, kill him. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. And she basically makes this, like, weird, rude joke about, you want to take this, Jay?
Yeah, so she basically says, like, we don't want the public to, like, when we're going to execute this person, and we don't want the public to, like, see this attractive person and think that, maybe they would ally with them instead. And so she basically says, let him live if he's ugly. And one of the guys just, like, straight up asks her, like, are you serious? And then she just, like, turns, doesn't actually wink at the camera, but basically winks at the camera and just says, just kidding. It's so weird.
It's weird. Lady Un, get better material. This wasn't funny.
Yeah, it was a strange joke for sure.
Uh-huh.
You gotta workshop that one.
Yeah, sure. I guess if you're gonna field a joke, field it with your little subordinates who have to laugh at you, and then you can work on it from there. But as we mentioned earlier, turns out it's very hard to fight mobile dolls.
Yep. They're quite good at what they
struggling.
do.
He can't keep up. And he's actually, like, having a hard time. He realizes that these things are, like, operating way quicker than he was expecting, and gets kind of outmaneuvered, beat up a bit, and then Nicole actually fires a laser, and he says, like, you should be thankful it was me and not one of the dolls, and actually just shoots off the arm of the Death Scythe, effectively incapacitating it and not actually killing Duo, so that he can, like, bring the suit in and bring the pilot in to Lady Un.
And Duo's like,
Duo's
what hero
like,
do?
Yeah, he's not having it. He says, basically says, like, I'll see, tag along on my journey into
It's so
hell.
good.
Duo's so cool.
I love Duo so much.
So he attempts to self-destruct, but it doesn't work.
But
the system fails.
Simply nothing happens.
Very,
I do,
very sad.
there's a little design thing on the Death Scythe I want to point out. There's a little, like, camera above the V-fin, which a lot of Gundams have, but this one in particular is very tall. And I think one of the only other times I've seen a design like that is on the Aegis, which is from Gundam Seed, and then eventually the Justice and the Infinite Justice Gundam that it gets developed into. And I wonder if this part of that design might have inspired that in some way. Just a cool thing to see as like a design that's featured only really prominently on like one other Gundam.
Yeah, it's absolutely likely.
Curious. Yeah, I mean, I know fuck all about Seed, but I will
Right.
tuck it away in my mind for the future whenever the fuck I get to that show.
It's just a cool similarity. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And then Troa's watching the news and he sees Duo and the Death Scythe have been captured. He also kind of openly states he thinks the public, like, being against the Gundams after the, like, colonies declared they were against the Gundams when they were still trying to get to space. He thinks the public is basically just stupid. He's like, how do they not see right through Oz's bullshit? And he wants to go and help Duo, but he's literally on the other side of the planet.
He's like, well, can't do shit. Oops.
He's like, I hope Hero sees this and does something.
Yeah. Hero's being a nice little library boy at this point, though. He's doing research. He's reading up a little bit on the original Hero Yui when he was killed by Oz, obviously. He notices the news.
This is fucked up because when he's doing his research, he finds out that Oz basically erased Hero Yui, the original Hero Yui, like from all records, from all like media history reporting. He just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, think about it. Like, he was fully in opposition to what Oz is trying to do. Like, he wanted people to come together and communicate, and Oz is over here trying to again.
I think even crazier than that is the fact that he was doing exactly what Oz is doing now, but without the militaristic control. And so he was doing it in a much more open and honest way.
Yeah, that's also very true.
Whereas Oz is like stealing his entire shtick and just lying to the colonies 15 years later.
It probably doesn't mean anything.
And somehow no one's
No,
noticed.
definitely not.
I think it's simply just a correlation does not equal causation. Never forget.
Yeah, Gundam
Right.
never is very on the nose about what it's talking about.
Hero notices the news.
Just
about
wait.
God. He notices the news about Duo, and he kind of thinks that like he can't retaliate yet. He just says like too many negative factors. Essentially, you know, like this is not, you know, the time place to openly fight back against Oz, who is like literally everyone in space the good guy right now. But he decides to be a little sneak about it. We see this like sort of transport freighter landing in barge. So this is what confused me, right? Because like this freighter goes into barge. Some workers go inside to like retrieve the crates inside, and like there's a little daikon radish floating in the air, and Hero fucking chops him in the back of the neck and knocks him out. And then we cut to, this is what confused me the most. This is like a parade, like a police procession where they're carrying Death Scythe on a flatbed.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people around, but like this is on barge. So I like, it doesn't make sense for the civilians to be on this thing, but like it has to be on barge because like this is where Death Scythe is until they take it back into space. It's not?
They when they capture the Death Scythe, there's a moment where I think it's Lady Un tells Nickel to bring the Death Scythe back to colony LC like 11201 or something ridiculous. But I believe it is an actual physical colony and not barge.
Yeah, because it's there when it's destroyed. Like it's on a colony already.
God, this is so confusing. Yeah. The point is he's a military procession.
Yeah,
everyone's like, look at the robot,
of the spots
kill it.
in this episode.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the public fucking hates it. It sucks so much. And then we see Nickel talking to Duo in like his jail cell, and he's like, they're gonna publicly execute you, you little fucker.
Yeah, you fucking 14-year-old loser kid. It's like he's baby, calm down. Don't do this. He's baby.
Yeah, Nickel doesn't try to like interrogate him or beat him up or anything. He's just like, haha, like fuck
he just
you.
Gloats.
Just like flips him the bird.
Yeah, it's like damn,
and
this is a kid.
It's like immediately after that we see Hiro sneaking on the colony, and then we see him like instantaneously at the jail cell where
there's
Duo
a
is.
hard cut.
They cut out so much chaff. It's so
that's
fucking
fine.
funny.
I don't need to see Hiro do Mission Impossible shit. Just cut to where it matters, you know?
It's good. It's funny.
Hiro levels his gun at Duo, and Duo's like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude, please shoot me. It's better than being executed." And Hiro's like, "I'll shoot you if I want, I'll shoot you if you want me to." And then just like carries him out. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna save you now." Just kidding.
Yeah, no, the tension in this scene is really weird, but it's also really funny because Hiro just points a gun at him and Duo's like, I get it, like, do what you have to do. And Hiro stands there silently for a moment, and then Duo's like, oh shit, you're actually gonna shoot me.
That's like Hiro's whole deal. It's like, is he gonna do something stupid? Oh shit, he's gonna do something stupid.
But
yeah, exactly. And Duo knows him like well enough at this point to see right through that.
Yeah, but the thing with it is, for at least for this time, it's not actually that stupid. Like, at least at this point, Hiro has no idea what they're going to be doing with Duo. And if they were going to torture him and get information or something, this may have been the better play anyway.
And then he chooses fucking not to, and Duo's like, all right, so what's the escape plan? And Hiro's like, I didn't plan on getting out of here alive.
Yeah, I don't have a Gundam. Good luck, us.
Let's fucking wing it.
Jesus.
It's just like, I love this entire thing. Like, Duo's like, what's the plan? Hero's like, plan? And just keeps on moving along.
Yeah. And this is when we get Nickel in the command. I keep saying Nickel. I'm sorry. We get Nickel in like the command room, and after a bunch of bombs have gone off, he's like, scan the room, see where the bombs are planted. And they realize that the one spot that's been left untouched is the mobile suit bay, and Nickel is basically like, oh, they're gonna go that way and try to escape there. Like, solid like tactical assessment of the place.
Yeah.
Like, actually surprising.
They deploy a bunch of Leos. Or I'm sorry, they deploy some dolls instead.
They deploy the mobile dolls, and one of the guys is like, wouldn't target settings be difficult? And Nickel is just like, no, it'll be fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Cut to.
Cut to something very bad happening.
Oopsie.
No, it actually gets interrupted by Shenlong showing up, right?
Yes, so that's the bad thing. Shenlong and Wu Fei show up.
Yeah, misogyny to the rescue, is what my notes say.
Good boy is here. Dude just kind of goes off for a bit. I like watching Dragon Arm crush things and flamethrower things in the face. It's always fun.
It's good.
Regrettably, it is sick as fuck.
They see, at this point, Lady Un starts taking off in her, like, Darth Maul ship, the big silver one.
Yeah,
and, like,
she microdosed psilocybin, and she's about to just fly into the line of fire.
Okay, look, I'm gonna say it, and you're not gonna like to hear me say it, Jared, but I think she's a new type.
Oh, no.
So, before we even get to that, Shenlong is still fighting. It does the Shenlong twirl, which is a piece of recycled animation we're going to see through to the end of the series. So I hope you like the sound effect of it twirling its little staff. Shenlong is basically getting pushed back into the line of fire by these Tauruses and Leos, and they're going to fire like their onboard colony laser, which... It sounds extreme. It's not like the UC colony laser. It's not that bad, but it is like a giant laser beam they can fire from the colony. And they're like preparing to fire it, and Lady Un flies out of the hangar and seems to be like, it seems like she's just talking to herself, but it kind of seems like she is mentally projecting her words to everyone on the battlefield.
The auditory effect,
I don't think is
the auditory
case,
effect is such that she's either like loudspeakering it or broadcasting it on the radio, like the common frequency to all the mobile suits. But like, to me, in my heart of hearts, she is in the soup Skyping everyone right now.
It seems like a new type speech, yeah.
And she's also blissed the fuck out.
It seems like that's exactly what I have written in my notes.
she is
but it's very much like
right
she's asking everyone to give her energy for the spirit bomb. She's getting everyone to raise their hands and stop fighting.
Yeah. Like, this is she's like fucking sparkling like Edward Cullen and glowing, and she's like, fighting is no longer needed in this peaceful age. Please end this futile battle. Like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? You can't just show up and pull this on me. Come on, Un. Are you a new
to the point of like
you have to
blocking the path of the beams with her shuttle too, which does give misogyny friend a chance to basically stab himself in the fuel tank to launch the Gundam.
Before that, even, they do fire the colony laser, and it literally annihilates a bunch of Leos, and Nickel is just like, it's fine, fuck them. And then Wu Fei loses an arm, and that's it. And then
he loses his cool stretchy dragon arm.
He gives himself as an emergency appendectomy and flies away.
Yeah, he activates pancreatitis.
Pew!
And uses the pressure to rocket away, which is really funny, because, like, how the fuck is that going to be more powerful than a suit's verniers?
Yeah, it's very clever. It's like an emergency escape situation, but Jesus Christ, he's definitely going to be out of fuel.
Yeah, but it's gone. Duo and Hero are, like, back in the base discussing how they're going to escape with all the mobile dolls. And this is
this fucking rules.
This rules. This is genius. So essentially, Hero kind of realizes like how the AI system works. So what he does is like he puts a bunch of Leos on, like, I don't know what they're called in this world. I'm going to call them Dodais because they're called Dodais in UC. Like the little like hoverboard things that a suit grabs onto that like rockets away, like, you know, the boogie board looking things. Mm-hmm. The Tauruses are like Shack Eye's real shit and like start firing them because anything leaving the base at this point is going to be the enemy. So he's using this to completely thin out the remaining Leos. But and then he has the even better idea.
The way that it's framed, though, the way that it's framed, though, is that like after this, we just see Tauruses shooting up Leos, and it's just like, what the fuck is happening? And we're like on the same page as the Oz soldiers, and they're like, something's not like right.
We are
and
fucking
a bunch
under
of people
attack.
in a command center. Yeah, they double check like the programming, and they see that the Tauruses, because of this scramble, have been targeting Leos, and they do some more digging, and we see on like a Taurus camera, Hero in an astro suit. They're called that instead of normal suits, I think. He turns with a submachine gun, fires at a Taurus to get it to be like, I need to attack this thing, and it like registers the astro suit instead of the person inside of the astro suit. And that's when they realize astro suits are also being targeted as a Taurus rolls up on the command center and just fucking annihilates
and literally
it.
does Shack Eye's real shit. It glows red and just kills them all.
Yeah, and we also get a moment of a Taurus picking a Leo up by the head and shooting it in the stomach. It's metal as hell.
The Tauruses and the mobile dolls are really fucking cool.
Maybe we shouldn't have made like evolving AIs that can be easily tricked. Oops. Oh fuck.
So here's one of the things is I thought Nickel was in that command center. Because there is someone who sounds, I swear, just identical to Nickel in that command center. And there's a moment later where we see Nickel, and I thought he was like an entirely different guy because he looks like Otto 2.0.
He does.
But apparently
start to look like Otto. You're absolutely right. I hadn't picked up on that.
But there was a moment earlier where the person who was commanding... there was a person who was like in charge of all these troops and stuff, and I thought it was Nickel, and he was like out of an astro suit, and he had completely different face, completely different hair, but he sounded the exact same. So I was like, oh, that's Nickel, and it was not, apparently.
Oopsie.
Nickel is but an idea. We can all aspire to be our own Nickel in ways.
He's the Deacons of the Deep of Gundam Wing.
Yeah, exactly. He's the driver of San Francisco of
his
Gundam.
Soul just possesses. His soul just possesses different meat suits.
Tremendous.
And then we get Miliardo chilling in the tall geese, and he's reflecting to himself. Did anyone write down the line that he says?
Yeah, he says that outer space is rejecting humans, and despite Earth being like a piece of shit, it's still pulling them back down. Hey, who else talked about Earth pulling your soul down?
Yeah.
I think this bitch is Shar-Asnable.
Oh no.
It sounds like another dude who wears red and is blonde and a Gundam antagonist.
It's happening again. I can't escape this little guy.
Also, I gotta say, I love seeing the tall geese with the super verniers.
Oh, it's so good.
I love the big fucker. So, okay.
The huge jetpacks.
A small aside, Gundam does this a lot, right? Where, like, you need to get a suit from Earth to space. How big of a rocket do you need to do so? And my favorite, my favorite version of this is the Gundam not Gundam Inlay, but the Inlay, which is from a Advance of Zeta that takes place between the original Gundam series and Zeta. I posted it in Operation Meteor. That giant ass is the escape thruster. It's
That's
just
so
like
good.
A rocket ball, and you see those little yellow things?
They gave tall geese a backpack.
Yeah, you see those yellow things on the Inlay?
Applesauce.
Like, those are individual mobile suits. It's that big of a thruster.
That's so cool.
Oh my god.
The Inlay
That's
is
like the HLV carrier, but like 10 times the size.
No, honestly, the Inlay is like, what is the most war crimes we can pack into a single mobile suit?
Oh,
And
this is the one that I said was Dragapult.
It is literally Dragapult, yes!
Yeah.
Dragapult.
God.
Anyway, next episode?
Tallgeese got that applesauce that you crave.
Oh, God.
Everybody gets this juicy wing wave.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, there we go.
We did it.
Episode 20. The Lunar Base Infiltration. Sally Poe infiltrates an Oz base in order to destroy the remains of Katja's Gundam Sandrock, but the Magnaut Corp are there to convince her to allow them to take the pieces back to their base in order to rebuild it. Meanwhile, Duo's Gundam Death Scythe is destroyed in a public viewing of space by possible Oz recruits, one of whom is a familiar face in Troa. Hiro sneaks into the lunar base in order to destroy the two new mobile suits, the Mercurius and the Vayeate, which is not how that's pronounced, but that's fine. Only to then be caught by Troa, who is now in hiding as a fully fledged member of Oz.
I believe it's the Vayeate.
Vayeate?
Vayeate?
I gotta make a face when I say that one.
That's how they say it in the sub.
In the English version, they call it the Vayeate.
Alright, I'll take it.
Like
if I'm looking
like
at the wiki,
the letter V in Spanish, ve, and then ate, like you just ate something.
Yep.
I don't know. Hopefully that's helpful.
Makes enough sense for me to use it.
Yeah. So the katakana, or I guess hiragana, for the Vayeate is Vayeato. So yeah, Vayeate.
Cool.
Okay.
Good
And
job,
then
team.
obviously Mercurius.
I'm just gonna say the way I'm gonna say it the way they say it in the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. It's Pokemon Red version, Pokemon Blue version.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
Red Pill,
can I
Blue
say
Pill, Morpheus, Orpheus.
these things fuck.
These
things
do.
fucking rule. These things fucking
They're
rule
so
so
good.
hard. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I love them so much.
They're so sick. They're very sick for also just being monochromatic suits. Like even the joints are just like an off color of the source color.
It's because they're buddies.
The big fucking like it's the big blueberry shoulders on the Vayeate fucking kill me. I love them so much.
Do not separate them. They're buddies.
They're a bonded pair.
Same hat. The fucking new type alignment has begun already. Wow.
Yeah, Pokemon
yeah.
Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, literally.
Literally.
So
Unbending Sword and the Unbreakable Shield. Anyways,
That's what it is.
Hero and Duo are on the moon.
Woo!
Well, they want to go to
Yeah.
the moon, I think.
Hiro brings Duo to the colony that he was currently staying at before he went to rescue him.
He's
Tells him
like,
to just
"Hey."
fucking stay here.
he's like, I'm already going under Duo. You could just take your name back. I'm going.
Yeah.
It's really, really
Yeah,
funny.
it's so funny. Duo freaks out. He's like, "You did what with my name?"
But like he also
it.
can't be himself because that's gonna raise some questions.
Just be yourself. It's not that hard.
And Hiro says something about like, "I need to get to the moon to figure out if he wants to steal or destroy the new mobile suits."
Yeah, so he knows he wants to go to Moom because he knows that a ton of Gundanium is being transferred there, and he's like, and I think at this point he knows that the Gundam scientists, like the engineers, are working for Oz because he mentions last episode that like he's going to kill him.
Yeah.
So he knows that they're
yeah.
on the moon making new suits, which is what he's going to go to do. And yeah, like as he travels there taking a shuttle, because again, he just like straight up shows an ID to the guards to get on this shuttle. So like clearly he has himself set up pretty well. He considers to himself whether
he's
he's
really
going to
good at
steal or destroy
Photoshop.
it. Yeah, I mean, hey, fucking...
He read the instructions for Photoshop when he was hacking earlier
There
this
you go.
season.
He remembered.
We do get a bit of a narrator overview,
Yes.
basically explaining how the moon was originally just for factories, but now has a bunch of tourism as well. So it's not just for that anymore.
It's like a factory mall.
Yeah.
It's a tourist trap.
It is.
It's
Which
the
is kind of
moon,
cool.
baby.
I love, this is true, like, this happens in both UC Gundam and this, where, like, it's really cool seeing the moon as, like, a kind of tourist destination, like with Von Braun City and everything in Zeta Gundam. It's cute. And yeah, we're inside the hangar where the Gundam engineers are working. We see Mercurius is, like, kind of fully constructed, at least, and Vayeate is, like, just the top half is done. It just has, like, the head and arms and like, the top torso, and everything else just, like, wires and
we
dangly
actually...
bits.
Yeah, we get a short rundown from Dr. J when he talks to Lady Un, too. He's like, yeah, the Mercurius is 88 or 80% complete, while the Vayeate is like 30 to 50%.
That's a big fucking standard deviation.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, it doesn't have legs, so it's obviously got a ways to go.
They got a lot of shit done in no time, too.
I know.
Like, they put these fuckers together so fast.
The time scale of Wing is really, really wild.
It's really bad.
It could be like 2 hours between episodes or 2 months, and like they do not tell you.
It's never clear.
It's never
until
clear.
You get something like this that's like, okay, so it's probably been a bit.
I mean, all I know is that like Wing takes place over, I think, a year, because I do know that it ends in like after Colony 196. So we have
it actually kind of copies original Gundam that way.
That's true, because that ended in UC 080.
Year.
Yeah, I think it ended on New Year's Day at 080 actually, which is cute.
I believe it did.
Yeah, they read the script. So they talked to Lady Un, and Un's weird, dumb idea that works out kind of well, maybe? Who fucking knows? The pilots aren't going to be like, you know, Oz genius pilots. They're just going to fucking select them from civilians that they're going to train, like the colony citizens. And Dr. J even like thinks to himself, Dr. J is like, oh yeah, Hero's definitely going to steal one of these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We taught that boy one
such
thing.
A good moment. All of the engineers are just like, so who do you think's going to show up?
Like, which one of our idiots?
They have like a fucking betting pool for their 5 fail sons.
Yeah. And then a bunch of politics happens.
Yay!
Specifically, like, colonies are talking about becoming a nation. They want to become a nation, but they have a problem with Oz's, like, proposition that they should be exporting a bunch of, like, military paraphernalia and tech. They're very against that. But Lady Un is being very convincing. Like, listen, the Alliance tried to get you guys to surrender through force with this military power. Oz is using that military power back against them. The reason we need to keep producing is to prevent the Alliance from trying to step in and like overpower us, basically. And she's got the fucking charm on because everyone's like,
that makes sense. Yeah, we're good.
Basically, they're like, yeah. The main sort of point is like, Un tells them essentially that like, yeah, you're going to become a nation. Like, we're going to unite the colonies, but your main export's going to be arms, essentially. And they say why. She looks in the camera and says, Cold War.
Yeah.
That's literally, it's just deterrence. That's all it is.
Basically, she just spits a bunch of revisionist history, and everyone's like, yeah, sure.
Checks out.
It's just like the almost exact like verbatim quote here is, how can there be world peace based on the idea that our main industry is a deterrent? And I'm just fucking making Jim Office face in the camera right now.
Yeah, we are all
like, it's there's not much. There's not much to say.
We're tapping the sign.
Like there's not much to say here because again, this is just fucking like people learned a lot of this shit in high school.
Yeah,
but like it's just like it is pretty pointed to have it come from Gundam, where like deterrence itself isn't really an idea that's been explored, and at least the Gundam series that I've seen, it's more just like straight up aggression. So the fact that like they're kind of baking Cold War politics into this now is like, okay, like. That's something new compared to how it was before, where it's like, we made a thing, let's go shoot people with it. It's like, okay, we're not at that stage yet. We're getting there. Un's last insane thing is that she, like, you know, the colonists say that they will kind of want to have a different main industry, and I don't even know what the fuck she ended up saying, but she's like, we now live in a peaceful time, but I still admire mankind's will to fight. And my note just says, girl, what are you talking about?
Yeah, she says some random bullshit.
I can't with her. She's so crazy. Love her. Then we're back.
And I think after that is, we head back down to Earth, and we get Sally Poe, baby, and she's just immediately planting bombs on the sand rock. She's just like, nope, not letting this fall into the hands of Oz. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, can I say, I fucking completely forgot her name was Sally until we started recording.
Oh, no.
I just typed, what's her name? Because I was like, what? I couldn't fucking remember it. I couldn't remember, but she's Sally.
It's Major Sally.
She's continuing her fucking campaign of carnage here.
Yeah.
She's caught by the Magronet Corps, who notice her putting bombs on Sandrock. Yeah.
This is legitimately, I think, my favorite part. Like, I love all 3 of these episodes very much, but I think this might be my favorite part, is just, like, the shenanigans that happens here.
Yeah, this is, like, a genuinely, like, really well lined up part of the episode. Like, I like when people are coming at a thing and just happen to run it headfirst into each other with the same goal.
It's so fantastic because it is a genuine coincidence. Sally is like, oh, I need to destroy this thing. And the Magwanak catch her. They're like, we're not letting you do whatever you're about to do. And she just says, fuck you, hits the detonator, and nothing happens to the Sandrock. And Sally is like, okay, I need to get out of here and get something stronger. And the Magwanak are like, shit, she's fucking crazy. And then the Magwanak, after she runs away, they're just like, all right, well, she tried her thing. It's time for us to do our thing. Let's skedaddle. And they try to, like, recoup the Sandrock and get it because they want to reconstitute it for Katra. And there's just so many, like, little character interactions between all the members of the Magwanak Corps that are so fucking funny and so, like, genuine. It reminds me a lot of like character dynamic stuff from like 8th MS Team, where you spend more time with the people, and it's just very personable and funny.
It's like they kind of realize, oh, we're both friends with a special boy. We have to be friends ourselves then.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's Sally ends up stealing a Leo and gunning down a bunch of other Leos, and then she immediately goes for like the Dober guns to try to shoot Sandrock. And one of the Magwanak guys who stayed behind with Sandrock is like, Abdul's plans never work out the way they're supposed to, and it cuts to Abdul in like the cockpit of a Trago unit. And he's like, what do you mean my plans never work out?
It's so good. I love when they do shit like that. It's like it's Scooby-Doo bullshit right now.
It's so fucking good. And like, what is it? I think they end up actually, the Magwanaks actually like manage to get the Gundam on like a transport, and they're running down the tarmac, and Sally pulls up dual wielding Dober guns in a Leo.
It's so sick. And this is when Auda is his name. he gets out and like basically reasons with her. He's like, hey, our Gundam pilot would be really sad if this was destroyed. And Sally is like, well, I think my friend would be happy if this was destroyed. And they kind of realize that, like, okay, our kids are kind of on the same side here. And Sally basically covers them as they leave. And she also is like,
it's so good.
I gotta go to what my kid left behind, which is like, he didn't, because it was in space. So what are you fucking talking about, Sally?
Well, she's talking about Hero, and Wing is not in space.
Oh, I thought she was referring to Wu Fei because he was the last one she interacted with.
She doesn't give a fuck about Wu Fei.
Nor should I, and yet.
and yet.
But yeah, it's so fucking. I love seeing a Leo get 2 Dober guns and just being like, "You shall not fucking pass."
You fucking double fisting military death.
Just like, what if Halo Master Chief was running around with 2 snipers?
Yeah, fucking, it's Halo 2 Sally Poe up in here. Let's go. Hey, can I say, Infinite looks really fucking cool.
You say that, but I've also seen a clip in which it really doesn't. So we'll not.
That's okay. We could all just play Halo 3 again as well.
Yeah, that's actually preferable, I think.
I'm not gonna litigate video games with you, chuckle fucks.
This is not a platform. Okay.
I was being genuine. I think Infinite looks good, and Halo 3 is also the best Halo game. So it is what it is.
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that. Halo 3 is the best. It's either 3 or 2. No, well, okay.
I promise, I'm not trying to argue.
Shit, no, I'm getting in the weeds.
See, now Max is ready to go.
I'm going to start yelling about Halo Reach. Halo Reach is the best one. Anyway, in space. Duo is chilling.
You know what? Yeah.
It's Reach. Duo's chilling on Colony Streets. He's watching a demonstration, like a sort of live fire test of people training in Leos who are, this is like where the civilians who want to get chosen to be a pilot for these new cool Oz suits. And who would it even be in as test pilot 1 of the Leo but Troa Barton? Uh-oh. Oops.
And there's it's a bunch of like Leos being piloted by civilians that are just like taking out space mines basically as a demonstration, and like a couple of them are like floating around very uselessly, and then Troa comes in and styles on all of them and unleashes like 3 shots that end up chain detonating all of the mines. And Nickel is like, what the fuck? That guy's a freak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nickel is immediately like, that dude's a Gundam pilot.
Yeah, and Una's just right? like, Una's just like, so what if he is?
It's like, yeah,
she literally shrugs and says, maybe.
He has the skills. Noin unradios him, and she's like, hey, you look pretty cool. One final test. Blow that up, and like the fucking debris clears, and it's just like Death Scythe hanging there. And at first,
and then we go back to Duo seeing it like on the TV screen.
He starts fucking Enyaba sweating.
And there's like a mass announcement on the TV, like, in order to show like Oz's contributions to the colonies and to make sure we're all on the same page, we're gonna destroy this Gundam live on TV.
It's miserable. I hate it.
And then Duo starts talking to the Death Scythe. He's like, "You're gonna be okay, right,
buddy?"
Ron Howard voice. Death Scythe is not gonna be okay.
And Nickel orders Troa to like take aim and fire, and Troa doesn't move, and then he discards his gun, and it's like, oh, okay, he's not gonna do it. And Troa turns around, he's like, "Nickel, give me your beam cannon.
I need a bigger fucking weapon.
I need to blow this thing up good." And poor Duo.
And he does.
And I believe there's an important yell in this moment for the dub.
So specifically in the dubbed version, Scott McNeil has done interviews talking about the scream he did here when the Death Scythe gets destroyed. He has referenced the fact that he had to reach deep for a memory to be convincing about this scream. And he recalled the time his wife ran over his motorcycle and used that as motivation. For those of you who have never seen a picture of Scott McNeil, especially like his behind the voice actors photo, he's got a soul patch, long hair, and he's always wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeehaw!
And it's not like one of the wide brim ones. It's one of the ones with like the brim like tucked in up on the sides too. So like he rides a hog.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, Scott.
Yeah, and Duo like screams and is like literally crying. They do a body scan of Troa to see if he's reacting at all, and he's not. He's got fucking ice in his veins.
He's doing the hero thing from like the first episode, right? Where like he's got complete control of his like emotions and bodily functions.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Except the fact that our sweet boy is crying.
Yeah.
Yep, there are some tears floating around. He didn't even realize he was crying.
It's like, are these my tears?
God.
Probably meaningful.
Yeah, it's genuinely a very sad moment to me.
Yep.
Then we cut to Hero, who's like doing recon on the new suits. He vows to destroy them.
Yeah, he's on the moon base now.
Yeah. Troa's waiting to meet with Lady Un. She's in girl boss nice mode right now.
Yep.
She just like really wants to talk with him. And Nickel's like, he's gonna try and kill you. He's clearly a Gundam pilot. And she's like, maybe he just wants to understand us.
This was the point where I was like, is there something going on with you, girl? Are you okay?
The answer is just a bunch of question marks.
Oh, absolutely.
And Troa starts talking to her, too, and it seems like an honest conversation, but Troa's straight-faced, just lying and talking shit about Oz to her face, and he says something about, like, oh yeah, like, that's why I wanted to join Oz. It's where the crafty people are rewarded for lying to the public, like, staring her down while he's saying all of this. And he says something specific, and it strikes a chord, and, like, actually lands for Un, and that's when she starts to, like, freak out, and a bunch of Oz soldiers run in there, like, she has to go.
She starts, like, key smashing IRL, basically.
Yes. She's not doing so hot.
No! And Nickel like levels a gun at Troa, and then he's like, "You have 2 hours. You're gonna pilot that suit." And then he says specifically, "So this is what like I'm like fucking Pepe Sylvia, Charlie Kelly right now because Nickel says Lady Un is a much stronger person in uniform. So like, is this like some sort of psychosomatic response to like her being in uniform versus not? Like what could it mean?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
This is what I've been alluding to, sort of.
Specifically,
I hate it, but I like it, but I hate it.
Specifically, the thing that like she's caught up on herself, she doesn't know. She's like, do I work under Treize or am I Lady Un of Oz? And I'm like,
right.
Those are two very different things, too.
There's different but similar. Like, I thought that Venn diagram was a circle, but clearly it is two separate circles. So what? Huh? Gundam Wing? This is getting interesting. What could it mean?
Her personality really is undergoing mitosis.
So yeah, we're in the hangar now. Un introduces Troa to the engineers and the new suits, and like, of course, Troa doesn't react to seeing his mentor. His mentor doesn't react to seeing Troa. I don't even know which one of them is Troa's mentor, but it doesn't matter. They basically say, oh yeah, it's an unstoppable force in Vayeate and an unmovable object in Mercurius. Vayeate has the largest possible beam cannon we could give it, and Mercurius has this like It's like not a beam shield. It's some sort of shield.
It's
where,
like an
the
electro
little...
like
it's like
reflects
yeah,
beam
it's like an electromagnetic diffusion shield. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
they're
like
perfectly matched and
Gundam
yet complete opposites.
00, I think. Yeah. Because, so just really quick, regular UC Gundam has, like, Minovsky particles, and that can fuck with, like, radio and, like, transmissions. But Gundam 00 has GN particles, which are, like, a physical thing, kind of like Minovsky particles, but, like, in a bigger way, where if there's, like, a cloud of GN particles, it can actually just straight up diffuse beams. Okay. And so there's like some logic in there about like how it would, mess with the particles using electromagnetics to like diffuse them, but they're trying to go for something along those lines.
Yeah. It wouldn't be until the mid-2000s.
Obviously, this was like 10 years, 20 years before 00.
Yeah, it wouldn't be until the mid-2000s when we get gender non-conforming particles. That's what it stands for, right?
Right. Yes.
That's right. So
there's a lot that happens in the dub though that I'll try to just blast through really quick.
Sure.
They start talking about like yeah. Lady Un's like, between the two of them, which one would win? And Troa's like, well, obviously it would be whoever has the better pilot, right? And like Dr. J is like, oh yeah, you're like, this kid's a genius. I like him. And as they're talking, the fucking Vayeate starts like moving, like its eye lights up real shit Shaq eyes, and like turns towards them and aims the gun. And like as Dr. J is talking to Troa, Otto 2.0 Nickel like interrupts and yells, "Silence now!" And the voice clip from that is just, it's really, he's like, "Silence now!" for no reason. And then they get fired on, and Dr. J really quickly activates the Mercurius shield to protect them. I want to note that the Vayeate shield, or the beam rifle rather, fires so hard that it pushes the Vayeate.
When you shoot in space, it pushes you backward.
Yep.
When you shoot in space, it do in fact push you backwards.
So goddamn right.
And then as a result, it clumps to the ground.
Look, I don't care about physics. Everyone in this room should be fucking dead.
Oh god, yeah, absolutely.
Everyone in this room should absolutely be roasted to bits.
Like, the key word in the electromagnetic diffusion shield is the diffusion aspect of it, where all that fucking beam energy has to go somewhere, and in this case, it should go to the entirety of this fucking hangar. Everyone should be a pile of goo. Whatever. It's
the shield that says no. It's
the Twitter block
firing
button.
A beam? No. It's the Twitter block button. It's the ban hammer.
Yeah.
It's the hammer that won. It's the last thing many a communist see.
That's right. And sure enough, who was in the Vayeate who fired? But Hiro Yui, who jumps out. And Troa immediately is like, "Fuck you, no way," and jumps up and like holds his gun to him.
Troa
he's captured.
He does an acrobat jump to get over to him.
I mean, he is a clown. He's a circus boy.
It's very good.
It's very good.
And they look up. They look at each other. They lock eyes from across the room. And Hiro is like, "Oh, interesting," and then drops his gun and decides to get captured.
Just goes with it. What a good episode.
Crazy.
And that brings us to the third one.
Fucking rules. Yeah, that's the end. That brings us to the third one, which is episode 21. Grief-stricken Katra. So, Katra gets stricken with grief.
Yeah, basically.
End of summary. Good job. You did it.
Summary.
I do have a longer version. Katra is adrift in space. He's found outside of a colony attached to an asteroid and is brought in to be given medical care. He wakes up in a hospital and tries to leave, but the doctor says she'll arrange a flight for him as long as he rests. The doctor ends up taking Katra to his father. We find out that the doctor is actually one of his sisters, and the family has kind of a small but meaningful reunion. His dad's angry that he betrayed him, basically. Katra and his sister kind of go off on their own. We learn her name is Ireya, and she informs Katra that her and her other sisters are kind of rooting for her, and though he might not show it, so is their father. Bunch of politics happens. Oz does some evil shit and kind of takes Mr. Winter's power away, even though he was just using his finances to make the colony a safe, livable place for everyone. They turn the public opinion against him. Mr. Winter says, "Fuck all of you," detaches the colony from the resource satellite it's attached to and sacrifices himself to prevent Oz from gaining control over those resources. And Papa Winter dies, and Katra cries, and also begins Jokerification.
Yeah.
Yes. This is... Oh, I like it. Katra just jumped up in interesting character rankings with this episode.
The end... This is such a good Katra episode, and the end of this episode is so satisfying. Like, it just all starts to add up. It's so good.
It's like, the whole time you're looking at the main 5 Gundam boys, and you're like, Katra kind of stands out of, like, a nicer one. You watch this episode, and you're like, uh-oh, sisters.
Yeah. God. So yeah, it starts out with Katra just floating in the top half of that Space Leo that got destroyed, like when that Alliance guy effectively saved his life.
He gets recovered.
A bunch
like,
of repairmen outside the colony. Yeah, they recover him, and it's just a hard cut to him waking up in the hospital.
Yeah, him waking up in the hospital. And he asked the doctor, like, why they saved him, and she's like, I don't care if you're an Alliance suit or an Oz suit or anyone, like, I'm a doctor, my job is to save lives. And also we're in a politically neutral zone, so I'm allowed to do this.
Yeah, like, this would not be something that she could get away with normally, but based on where they are, they can.
Yeah. And he wants to go immediately, and she's like, please get some rest. You basically died. I'll rent you a shuttle when you get better. Just in the meantime, chill. And of all the 5 Gundam boys, I actually believe that Katra will just sit there and chill until he's better.
He's the only one I could see actually resting. The rest of them are going to, like, bleed out in a cockpit somewhere.
God. It's so good. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I probably should rest. Like, even Hiro had to, like, sit Duo down and be like, you're not going.
And we cut to Un, who is tracking something in space. It's maybe the Tallgeese. It's way too fast for them to be able to capture it as they are now. And Showa's like, hey,
would you say
we have
that
new
it's
suits. Can we use
3
those, please?
times faster?
At least.
We do get a written description. It's at least 20%. It's accelerating 20% faster, but, you know, joke's a joke.
I mean, the fucking Tallgeese itself, we already know the Tallgeese is 3 times faster. This is 20% faster than Tallgeese goes. So in reality, it's a 3.6 times faster.
Wow.
Cool robot.
Math.
So, they're going to use the dolls and, like, test the Vayeate and Mercurius to capture it. And Un agrees with it. She thinks his plan is good. He does need a good co-pilot, so let's fucking...
And
why
Nickel
not?
wants in on the action really bad. And Tro is like, no, fuck you. I want the captured Gundam pilot.
Specifically,
and
Tro says
like,
we
sure.
need a good pilot. Basically just completely trashing Nickel.
I think the word he used in the sub was, we need an excellent co-pilot.
Sorry, bud.
Not very excellent, Bill or Ted. Bill or Ted or Nickel.
So yeah, she agrees to let him go get Hiro from the cell and be Troa's co-pilot.
It's so fucking stupid.
Why the fuck not?
It's so stupid because I guarantee 10 minutes later someone's gonna be like, how did we not see this coming?
Oh god, yeah.
And we end up a quick cut over to the hangar where Troa is getting set up in the Vayeate and Hiro's getting in the Mercurius. Yay. And actually going over the controls while under gunpoint by an Oz soldier. And Lady Un tells us, the viewers, basically that Troa has the kill switch, the self-detonation device for the Mercurius in case Hiro gets too out of line. But effectively, Hiro and Troa are heading out to space to intercept the Tallgeese with these Tauruses. And this is kind of a continuation of the fight from Antarctica.
Yeah, I was right. It's going to keep on happening until it finally gets resolved one way or another.
Yeah, it's a really cool scene,
but
too.
Specifically, Troa is like, yeah, this would be a continuation of their fight in Siberia. And Lady Un's like, how the fuck do you know about that? And Troa's just immediately straight-faced. He's like, oh, well, I saw it happen when I was living on the colonies because you guys were pointing a gun at me.
It's a lot. And yeah, they blow on. They're like, whatever, sure, kid. Miliardo's flying around in Tallgeese, and Hiro's practicing.
We see him in the red Astro suit. Yeah. Miliardo in the red Astro suit looks clean as hell.
It does.
Hiro is just he does all the shit he can with the Mercurius. He shows off the beam Gatling pistol, and the like beam saber shield that it has. I love this thing. It's so fucking
really
cool.
sick.
He's also like explaining to Troa the weaknesses of the mobile dolls and destroying them slowly as they go out to
as
space.
he's taking out Tauruses.
It's so fucking
It's
cool.
so funny
immediately
because-
fucking apparent.
Yeah, Troa asks him, how would
their
you destroy a
plan is
mobile
so
doll? And Hero
obvious.
goes, like this.
Like this.
And no one in a control room, no one anywhere, no reaction from Oz. They seem to be completely unmonitored.
Which blows my fucking mind. How do you let this dude you just
so
met
stupid.
go fly off with your prisoner? Ugh.
God.
Idiot Oz.
Come on. One of my favorite things is while he's doing this too, Hero specifically says, personally, I have a harder time taking out space mines.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking damn, Mr.
Troa does say
Ice
something
Cold.
during this conversation too. He's like, hey, slow it down. Let's not be too obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, the main Hero notes that the main weakness of those suits is that like they may be AIs, but they still have the exact same reaction time as the they're limited by the speed of the mobile suit itself, which like honestly isn't much of a limitation considering they can think faster than a human. So it's like it takes them the same speed to like turn around, I guess, but like it can think to do that way sooner than a human can. So it's not much of a weakness.
Right.
And Hero says, like, you know, I'll be able to take the tall geese myself. Like, we can get rid of these mobile dolls, basically. And he, like, as he destroys, a third one. It's fucking this kid.
They send off a couple Tauruses to take out the tall geese, like, ahead of them. So Miliardo gets a chance to kind of acquaint himself with these things. And he realizes that his reaction time is slower than theirs. But he keeps beating them in close combat. And while he's getting attacked by the Tauruses, Hero just comes in swinging immediately in the Mercurius, and Vayeate is like firing shots from a distance and taking out a ton of Tauruses in the meantime. The fight, it's so fucking good.
It's one
not
of the
like
better ones that I like so far. I really enjoy it.
Right. It's not like a true rematch because it's obviously not like Hero and Troa's goal, but like they still do some really cool combat here, and Zex is like firing on the Mercurius from a distance. Hero uses the Mercurius's shield at like half capacity because it only uses like 3 of the plates, and he ends up going in close with like the beam shield saber, and Zex pulls out his beam saber, and they just like clash as Troa just keeps taking what seem like pot shots, but he's, you know, annihilating Tauruses in the background.
Yeah. And on specifically the shield, I don't even know what they're called. Like the planet defensors is what they're called.
Yes.
They specifically remind me a lot of the fin funnels on the new Gundam from Char's Counterattack, in that they can like pop off and like form a shield by like making like, I mean, for Amuro it was like a pyramid, but for this it's just like you need 3 of them, and it like, you know, if you draw a line between the 3,
it's like a circular area.
Yeah. But Miliardo eventually surrenders. He's like, all right, I'm not going to do this right now. And he introduces himself as Miliardo Peacecraft. He's a goodwill ambassador from Earth.
Well, so that's the thing is he realizes like mid-fight that they're just taking out the Tauruses. Like they don't seem to care about him at all. And he's like, oh, there's only 2 people I know who would be like this capable. And he's like, okay, it's these kids again. And he stops the tall geese, opens the cockpit, steps out. Troa pulls up in the Vayeate, opens the cockpit, points a gun at him, and he's like, Zex Marquis, you're an enemy of Oz. And it's the one time anyone calls him Zex to his face. There are a couple other times where people call him that in the background, but that's the one time we're allowed to say it. And then Hero pulls up like on the shoulder of the tall geese, also pointing a gun at Miliardo.
He's ready. And then after this, we cut to another narration. This is some fucking bullshit about how people in space pull themselves up by their bootstraps. Like, I don't give a shit about any of this.
Sorry, I really think it's supposed to like try and highlight that the people of space are all working class. Like the people who started living in space, like the first generation colonists, and especially like the second generation colonists, all of them are technicians and laborers. Like all of them are. And they are literally trying all to together improve society. And the winner family came in and supported this financially. And they have also continued to be an advocate fighting for colony rights through pacifism. That's basically the whole deal.
Yeah.
And then we meet Daddy Winner.
I love that, like, clearly the fucking, like, white shirt and a vest over it is, like, the Winner family fashion here.
Oh, of course.
It's so good. I also dress exactly like my father.
He's so fucking mad too, and this is where we find out that the doctor's name is Irea, and she's actually Katra's sister.
How does he not know this?
And he just we do hear why in their conversation later. So after Katra's dad scolds him, he's like, Oz is obviously bad, but I think one of the things he says is like, violence will only cause more problems in the future. Mm-hmm. And then we get Katra and Irea on their own, and he says to her specifically, he's like, why didn't you tell me you were my sister? And she's like, oh, well, like, you know, I wanted to keep it to myself for a little bit. But like, Katra's like, oh, all of my sisters were supposed to be stationed on like other colonies and other like stations and all this stuff, like basically working as conduits of the family, and she just happened to be back here for the time.
Yeah, and like she mentions how you know, your father still misses you. I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. So yeah, Katra's at home now, and like, yeah, his father's pissed as hell. Ideology. We get the reveal that Iria is his sister. And yeah, this is when she says, oh, by the way, like, you know, your father might be pissed as hell, but like, he's still rooting for you, and we are too. Like, he, like, I guess, like, you know, deep down, his father knows that, like, Katra's doing direct action here, and knows that, like, he can do what Katra can do.
Like, he
what
can hold his
cannot.
ideology as close to his heart as he wants to, but like, Katra's doing good regardless of how he feels.
And when Katra and Irea split off on their own, they end up going to visit the hangar that Sandrock was assembled in. We learned that they actually took in, I think they called him Instructor H.
Instructor H, yeah. So each Gundam engineer has a different title, which is cute.
Right. They brought him in, and he ended up building the Gundam, and Mr. Winner was like, I don't want to use this, and Katra was basically like, oh, well, if you won't, I will, and got in and took it over. And they do this shot where they superimpose like the old shot with the hangar with Sandrock in it, and then it's empty, and Katra's like, I'm sorry if I'm being sentimental, I think I miss my friend, the Sandrock, and it's very sad.
He's doing his best.
But Katra says he wants to build like another Gundam, like the original design for the Gundam. And Irea's like, well, you know, did you see the public execution of the Death Scythe, like of that one Gundam on TV? Like, you know, it was kind of a big deal. And then somehow it gets brought up. Katra says the line, I wasn't fighting so my deeds would be recognized by the people.
It's good. He's like, he knows that he's fighting for the greater good here instead of like his own personal gain.
This family moment has got to be like one of the most grounding things.
This is my favorite scene in Gundam Wing so far.
It's so fucking good.
Where Irea just like goes from behind and hugs him.
Yeah, it's like she's like telling him not to cry, and she's like, all of us love you very much. Don't forget that. Oh,
it's so cute.
So fucking good.
It's so cute. I love it.
And then we get a crowd booing and jeering outside of just a building, and it looks official.
Yeah, like, Winner is giving a speech to the colony higher-ups here. He's, like, asking them all why they're going to go ahead with military development. We get the idea that, like, he is, like... I feel like Winner's, like, the fucking rich... Like, the guy bankrolling most of the colonies. Like, he seems rich as hell.
They specifically say that, actually. Like, there wouldn't be the colonies if it wasn't for their fortune. He's the one who got them off the ground.
Absolutely. His family wanted to help expand in space, and so, like, essentially funded everything that was necessary. All of the tools, all of the development. They're kind of, like, signing the paychecks in a way, indirectly.
Like, they own a lot or most of the resource satellites that they then, like, give away or, like, rent out at, like, stupid cheap for the colonies to utilize and get resources.
Oh my god, yeah. We hear directly from, like, Mr. Winner himself that they have basically given, like, obviously they're financially contributing, Jesus, to, like, the success of humanity as a whole, but they've been doing it with practically no, like, monetary gain as a result. Or at least that's what's implied.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and like despite this, they're like, no, we want it all actually. And
yeah, sorry, we can't let you be a dictator anymore. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think the scene contains politics.
There's a vote basically to like get Mr. Winter out of power, and Oz gains jurisdiction over the satellite.
Mm-hmm.
That is a unanimous vote. Oops.
Yeah. And Mr. Winter's like, okay, it's my satellite, fuck you, and like literally detaches the resource satellite from the colony it's attached to. Yeah. And as it starts to float away, Oz is like, oh, you're a terrorist. You should be destroyed.
This is a lot, right? Because
like it's a very quick jump too, right? So like, Oz's immediately goes from, oh, we're really peaceful to, okay, I guess we kill this man now.
Yeah, which is like
this
taking
it blew my fucking mind.
Yeah, so he's taking his ball and going home essentially.
And their response is murder him.
No, not only that, their response is they're gonna pop the ball so that no one can play with it.
Yeah,
and
this
then
is what's
they're
wild
gonna kill him too.
Now nobody gets a fucking satellite.
Oz is so fucking stupid for this one.
I mean, part of me thinks what I think is that by disconnecting the research satellite and having it float into space, they're not going to be able to retrieve it. Like, because it's just a fucking rock, right? It didn't. Maybe they have propulsion on it, but like, it's expensive to move things around in space. So part of me thinks that like they know they wouldn't be able to retrieve it, and they're just going to blow it up to send a message. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it makes them look like complete fucking idiots. Where it's like, we voted to take this. Oh, you're going to take it? Okay, we're going to kill it then.
We're gonna.
Like, what are you on about?
We're going to get the resources and distribute it to the people. But instead of that, actually, we're going to destroy the resources. Fuck all of you.
Yeah, like nobody looks like the good guy here. Like there's definitely an argument to be made. There's definitely an argument to be made of Winter taking the resource and like disrupting Oz's supply chain, and it's like, you know, hard. He's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing by making sure Oz doesn't get these resources to continue building literal weapons of literal mass destruction. And he ends up taking it fully away from them because they're so stupid they do just blow it up. Yeah. And not before...
And while all of this is going on, Irea and Katra get on a little shuttle because they're like, we need to fly out there. We need to get our father. We need to talk him down from this. Or if not talk him down from this, at least get him on board and safely out of here. Mm-hmm. They effectively fly into the line of fire from the colony. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Winter basically just is like, Katra, I do think you're doing the right thing. I just think there's a different way you could do it. And we get the iconic Katra line from all the Gundam Wing promos where Brad Swill yells, "Father!"
Yeah, he's like fucking melted, essentially. They fire a trillion guns at him.
Yeah.
Satellite's gone,
and
like...
The force of the explosion, it sends Katra and Irea like flying backwards. And Irea, don't ask me how she does it, but she manages to get behind Katra and like soften his blow, but she gets hurt in the process.
Yeah, she like fucking cracks her ribs or something. It's not clear.
Yeah, it kind of seems like she dies.
That's so.
It got real quiet and real slow, and that's what it made it seem like.
And she stopped talking and closed her eyes.
Yep.
And Katra
is like holding her corpse.
Like he's so fucking angry too. Like we have not really seen Katra like this, and I think he says something like, "Oh, the people of the colonies don't understand, and I'm gonna show them. They're gonna remember this." And then he does a fucking Joker laugh.
Joker, it's so fucking funny. My notes say, "Let's go, little man."
He's really doing his best.
He is the Joker now.
Buddy.
I'm so proud of him. And like, it's not enough the episode to end on that. We do get a tiny little scene of the tall geese being taken in. Milliardo just kind of comments on how he likes the quiet of outer space.
Thanks, buddy.
Does he say that he likes it? Because I feel like in the English version, he's just like, it's weird how quiet it is in outer space.
Maybe, hold on. I don't know what he says. But like, he comments on the quiet of outer space at least. Maybe I just misread. But that's the episodes. Shit happened.
Operation
Thanks,
Meteor
Gundam
count, 0.
0. Fucking...
Hey, I think that boat is sailed.
Yeah, do an appropriate number of
fine.
push-ups for however much you want to do is the homework for this week.
Do a number of push-ups for every time we called him Zex this episode.
That's probably not that many.
I think
Do
we
10
did pretty
times that
good.
number.
I don't know.
No, we did pretty good. I'm sure I'll miss some in editing, or maybe just won't do it at all again. It's up to me. I'm the captain of this boat.
I've got a hard out in 10 minutes.
Oh God. Okay, let's go.
All right. Do we want to skip a bit and just like do the end of it then?
I think that might be smarter.
Yeah, we'll just do that next week.
I can do I can do a Beyond Toon World. It'll be quick.
All right, let's go. Fuck it up.
All right, Beyond Toon World. You're gonna love this. Trust me. Beyond
Let's go.
Toon World.
You're going to love this. Trust me. Beyond Toon
So Scott McNeil, the voice of Duo Maxwell, he's Flam in basically all My Little Pony stuff. Don't really know who that is. He's represented as a human in most things that I've seen. His main thing that I know him from, other than Duo, he's actually Koga from Inuyasha. He's the fun fox boy who has a crush on Kagome.
Why are there so many Inuyashas?
So he's also Daryl Dodge, who's like one of the only black characters in Gundam 00. Oh. He's also the voice of main antagonist Ali Al-Sachez from Gundam 00, who plays opposite Brad Swales. That's an FCA. It's so good. He's in Gundam Dynasty Warriors as Duo Maxwell, but some people might also know him as Jim Gingham from Turn A.
Oh, it's funny. Jim Gingham from Turn A is also voiced by Dio in the sub.
That fucking rules. He's in the League of Super Evil, if anyone remembers that show from 2009, as Voltar and roughly like 24 other characters. He's Grumpy Bear in most Care Bears media. In Full Metal Alchemist 2005 and in Conquerors of Shambhala, he is Hohenheim.
Oh my god!
Yeah. He's Umata Emma and Seiren and Glasgow. Unato Emma Seiren, that's one name, and Glasgow in Gundam Seed Destiny. He's also a couple captains in Just Seed. He's Bamonga and Kitangu in Bionicle the movie.
Fuck yeah, I love
Web of
Kitangu.
Shadows. He's Count Max and Scully Pettibone from Scary Godmother.
Great.
What the fuck?
He's Mr. White, Zizrar, and Bumper from Johnny
Mr.
Test.
White from Breaking Bad?
He's Dr. Wily from Mega Man.
What? What the fuck?
He's Wolverine in X-Men Evolutions.
Okay, bub.
He's Rat Trap, Dinobot, and Waspinator in most Transformers Beast Wars media, and he's Ken and Blanca in the Street Fighter TV show, but more importantly, in Dragon Ball Z 1996. He's Piccolo, Majin Buu, King Kai, Old Supreme Kai, Android 16, and Dabura.
Jesus.
God. That's like every cool character.
Yeah.
He's so many different characters. It's so fucking good.
He has the range, it seems.
He's on a lot of other stuff. There's a bunch of like smaller credits from like Lego Ninjago and all those, but those are the ones I thought were the most important.
Holy moly. Damn. Thank you,
Really,
Scott
really
McNeil.
Interesting dude to look into his voice career.
Yeah, I love when they're just like fucking loaded like that.
He's just a weird cowboy man who does a silly voice.
Good. All right.
Oh god.
Fuck yeah. Thank you, Scott McNeil. Thank you, Jared. Very nice.
I'm saluting, yeah.
I'm saluting. Plugs real quick. Let's run through them. Then we got one more thing.
3, 2, 1, go. I'm Jared, or Jay. You can find me at Pagliacci Protege on Twitter and also on Discord. Hire me for voice work, please. I just landed a contract with an arts council, so
Hell yeah.
that's cool.
I've been Julia. You can find me on Twitter at the Crown Jewels, JULES, followed by 2 underscores.
I'm Max Jillian on Twitter, and my podcasts are linked in the show notes. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Slappers. Those are the 2 of them. Whose turn is it for Bot of the Week? Is it Julia's turn?
Oh, I think it might be.
I mean,
no. Julia opened the previous episode, so I think it's me.
But I
What's
wanted
your Bot of
it.
the Week?
Haha, I stay winning. Genos from
You
One
stay
Punch
winner,
Man.
Quatra.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
It's Genos from One Punch Man for sure.
I like him. He's cool. He's blonde and has scary eyes.
He has
Sexy.
jets in his shoulders. That's pretty fucking rad.
He's nice. I like him.
He's literally hot.
Oh no, he's hot.
Oh no, he's hot.
Well, that will do it.
All right, stay bold and brash, everyone.
All right. As we always say to close us out, war is bad.
Wow.
Wow. Cool
Cool
robot.
robot! We're never gonna get it.
Peach.
Seki hot, love, Tenkyoken. Goodbye.
Fuck.